Hello, everybody. It's a very sad state of affairs, just how much evil and rot is in the world today. The latest on Epstein is incredible, and what the Wall Street Journal is doing to try and take down Donald J. Trump, and to actually, more than that, it won't work, and they know that. But what this is, and I'm going to explain it here in about a minute, is this is all to get all of these elite, perverted sickos all attached to Epstein, not on a list, so to speak. These are court cases that were done and sealed in New York. It does give a pile of his perversion, Epstein's, and its victims who name other people along the way. Dershowitz is the perv lawyer who unfortunately is guilty as charged, walking free pervert in New York. And what it's going to do, everybody, I'm going to explain it in a minute, because I know this judicial system very, very well, spent 10 years studying it intensively. And guys like Dershowitz and many other sickos are going to actually flood to New York. And why is that? In the United States of America, everybody, there are 12 district systems, 12 of these things. Multitude of states encompass many districts, but one of the 12, number 2, is the state of New York, and the state of New York alone. Not all of these 12 districts are designed the same way. In fact, they're all different. New York has a district model system where the judges are appointed. They're at the state level. Currently, those justices are heavy Democrat. And when I say appointed, I also mean that at the highest district level, you've heard of the We the People court system. Not in the District 2 known as New York. It's not a We the People system. It's not only that the justices are appointed, but the justices appoint those courts to do supposedly We the People's bidding. But it never is. People in New York, the state of New York, in District 2, can't initiate We the People justice, can't initiate any of those courts, even though they use the titles. They use them. They're their own colonial district model that is separate from most of what remains in the United States. There are others like it. They are 60-40 when you look at the 12 district systems. 60% are not really for We the People. However, there are processes for We the People, except for the state of New York. They cannot do it. The project I'm working on that I've been keeping under wraps, the 3-minute video I'm finishing up, going to have it released for everybody on YouTube. What I want to give to Republicans is going to teach them how to deal with this at the state level. It's to break these small chains, these colonial leftovers. What Wall Street Journal's doing on behalf of a lot of perverts in America is basically forcing Donald J. Trump to defend his honor, to defend his truth. There is no letter of him on a birthday card. None of that matches Trump, not at all. But what it's going to do is force on a national level Pam Bondi with the DOJ, who can appeal to those judges, to release documents. Doesn't mean they're going to get all of them. Doesn't mean they're going to get them all quickly. Because you have state level appointed justices who have absolute privy. Which means all of those named and who went through the court already are going to get a major heads up. They're going to be told, hey, we're releasing these documents, victims, people accused, those who were named in the transcript sealed, not made public, not for all of America, are going to get a heads up. Now, if any of these people don't live in the state of New York, they're going to be moving back there, where they're going to be safe and sound in that district model system. Now, if they had businesses and dealings outside of New York in other districts where they can be held accountable for what the DOJ can uncover and go through quietly, utilizing the FBI and even internationally using Homeland Security, that can be done over many years, building cases on these people and their connections after what we know Epstein was doing on a global basis. That's all going to be ruined. This video is for Americans, Canadians, or anyone in the world who wants to hear this. This district model system is a broken colonial model. And what I mean is, America decolonized 165 years ago, a terrible civil war. And yes, the southern states were sick. They had creations inside their state-level constitutions. They codified them in a perverse colonial way. Spanish colonial, in fact. Slavery, in fact. America wasn't the last to finish off slavery. Spain carried it on much later than America, which is what was the constitutes of all of those southern states. And it was wrong. It was evil. America did the right thing at a great sacrifice of so many American lives. In fact, all the wars America's ever been in, including all Indian wars, you can't get the number of death toll added together to equal what Americans lost fighting each other in the Civil War to decolonize the southern states. Now, that was done. America's moved in great fashion from that. Today, the southern states are actually beautiful places, largely Republican now. And it's the northern Democrat states we see, several in fact, some people will guess, obviously California and New York, but there are others. And in these judicial model districts, when you start going through them, you see the perversion that you find in a country like Canada. And why? Because they're bordering it. You will see the great trade capacity back and forth. You'll even see the financial system, Wall Street, the Bay Street, Toronto, all the sickness of Canada constituted in some of these states, including New York, probably the worst district out there of all the districts. America can grow and change. It must be done at the state level. It's a presentation I'm going to be releasing unlike anything ever done in American history. For the Republicans, something they can utilize, an actual recent amendment of the New York State Constitution. But sadly, alas, with this Epstein, where Trump has no choice, this really erodes his base. It really gets a lot of conspiracies going, and that's what the Democrats want. But more than that, because they know Trump fights, and I know he does too. He's going to pressure Bondi. Bondi's going to pressure the justices, who are basically going to tip off all of those named, whether accused or in with the accused, meaning named by victims, that yes, like Dershowitz, you guys already know this anyway. He was named, he knew these children were there, especially in New York. He'd show up to do business with Epstein and maybe go for a massage upstairs, knowing these were underage children. You're part of it. The man's a walking pedophile, aid and abater pedophile, knowing what was going on. There's many more, and they're in there locked away. And it's not a list, so to speak. It's testimonials from all the victims, who they remember, people they've ID'd there. We already know Donald Trump isn't there. If he was, we would have had all of that released long before the election. This supposed birthday card that, you know what? Do you know how many letters of Trump are out there and exist? He's not a drawer. He doesn't talk like that. He doesn't talk in riddles and codes. That is totally not Donald J. Trump. I bet you if you had any professional analysis on decades of Donald Trump letters, which there's lots out there publicly, none of that would match Donald J. Trump's supposed letter from Epstein. We know it's a creation, and I know why they're doing it. They're going to set free a lot of folks. A lot of folks, if they weren't in New York, they soon will be moving there because they know they will be safe and sound, just like the pervert Dershowitz and many others. And they sit there in that cesspool, a place that needs to be decolonized. And I truly do want to help with that. I want to help with the New York Constitution. Show a we the people system forward. New York does have we the people power, and they can get it done. They just need to be shown something that a lot of Republicans wouldn't see right now in the latest amendment because of abortion and everything that's going on there, other issues of the amendment. But there's a small piece in that amendment that I'm unlocking for a lot of people that beyond the things the Republicans can't stand, the kryptonite, so to speak, is a little piece there that they can run with. And in fact, Donald J. Trump just ran with it the other day in Alaska, and Benjamin Ebley shared that with me. And that piece that's being done in Alaska and other district models where we have the Indian equal citizen, we have the American equal citizen, and the power of the American or Indian American citizen to launch their own court actions. We can get that done in New York. I have that amendment. I have that critical piece. I have precedent in USA, and I have the 2 United States amendments to back it up, where it's very hard when we deal with American justices, just so all Americans, Canadians understand this. There's only 2 types of justices in the United States. There's interpretive, and then there's actual what is written. That is the Republican stylized justice. The interpretive is the Democrat style, where they say we not necessarily care what was written, how it was written, and what was its intent at the time. We're going to interpret it as though it applies today in our view, utilizing all sources of law in and around America, which I don't agree with. I think that undermines constitutions. I like the Republican style. But nonetheless, interpretive or absolutely as it's written will not matter with this amendment, because it's all about precedent. And when the precedent is in volumes and you have these exact words, Webster's words, written into a state level amendment, you're hard pressed to get any U.S. highest court of the state, the Supreme Court of New York, to rule against it. And even if they do, you can get an appeal to the Supreme Court of the United States that will most certainly, absolutely rule in favor of the language and the proposal, giving the power and district strength back to the people of the U.S., allowing them to do a citizen initiative to put on a referendum ballot that has decades in itself. All New Yorkers have wanted to do this. They just haven't known how to do it. Now, I don't like to do spoilers, and I don't want to give into too much detail because I want my YouTube video accurate. I want that there in that 3-minute format, and I want that going out. That's going to come probably by the end of this weekend, and then I have to work on World Constitution Day. But by Sunday, absolutely, I'm going to have that out for everybody, uploaded to YouTube. And of course, it'll be in with the Republican Party, and I hope to make use of it. It's very sad, like I said, this video, everybody, it's very sad that so many folks are going to get away with serious crimes, and not only just them, but all those attached to them, that this is what, through DOJ, FBI, and Homeland Security, spend years working on to get these rings. These rings will be largely free to continue what they're doing. They're going to get away with what they did, absolutely, and it's going to give them all a heads up. And that's the real sad part here. You know, and I understand what Donald Trump's got to do. I understand the man he is. And I understand that Pam Bondi is going to capitulate and it's going to push. But remember, everybody, those district judges make the final decision. And if not all evidence, it may not even be all evidence, because if a witness says, you know what, I don't want my identity unsealed, everything in relation to that witness won't be unsealed. And I promise you, there's no president of the United States who has any authority to push or make that happen. There's no DOJ that can force that upon these 12 districts. Their powers are specific, they're codified, and they certainly aren't the powers of the president or the DOJ. I'm not saying things won't be released, but don't be surprised if it's not to the standard or hype people are making it to be, because I just don't see it in the New York district model. And that takes people to go read, research, and learn that. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of time to go through it. I've done that. I've done all 12. But, yeah, that's just a sad state of affairs. Decolonization must happen in several northern and western eastern states, but yes, in the northern side that haven't been touched since the Civil War, because they were apparently the good guys. But there's problems with them now. The South has come forward in a lot of changes. The territorial changes, those created out of that in the statehood, those have monumental differences that you can thank from the American Indian citizens. It's their justice model that empowers the people. That's what America took from them. And like I said, I don't want to tip off too much, but the presentation I have for YouTube is just spectacular. It takes real American history, and it really does trigger Americans, American Indian citizens alike. And they'll see that, they'll recognize that, and then they're going to start to shift focus. Those who see it and look into it are going to shift focus to the northern states that are compromised, that are leftovers of an old colonial world that really are corrupting America. And yes, they are largely Democrat states. So folks, that's my video. It's a sad video to have to do, but you know, so much evil in this world, we can never give up. We always got to go foot forward. I don't like where it's going, but it's going to go there. And I do understand. I understand why Trump must defend himself, and he's going to push for this, even though it may not be the right thing, because a lot of perverts are going to get away. A lot of perverts are going to move to New York and may never ever see any justice, and we'll never see an end to some of these rings. That's the truth of it. And if you ever doubt that, Americans or Canadians, go read the District 2 model system of New York. Compare it to others, especially Kansas, for example. I believe that's number 8. That's probably about the most beautiful one. But compare 2 to 8, and you're going to go, huh? Start looking at We the People court systems initiated by American citizens, and then look at That's Impossible in New York. And then look at the tremendous power of the justices, and as a very centralized controlling power in the name of the people, but not, absolutely not for the people. And that's the politicism of it. But I know this may be beyond a lot of people. I hope it makes sense to everybody. I hope it finds everybody well. It's a worthy share, a tremendous amount of intellectual property here and disclosure. Share, get it out there. God bless everybody. Bye now.